a mousy librarian is summoned to a remote Canadian island to inventory the estate of Colonel Jocelyn Carey. Colonel Carey, as the reader quickly learns, has a number of secrets, but the most surprising and the most enduring is a bear. By page 20, our librarian has met the bear and wondered if the bear would be good company. The bear is indeed good company. Intimate company. Shocking company. Bear by Marian Engel.
Oh, hello there. I didn't see you come in. My name is Mack.
And I'm Lucky.
And this is the inaugural episode of the Gentleman's Romantic Book Nook.
Mac, I have to say, I was apprehensive on our very first book title. I need to get that out there right off the bat.
Okay. Is it because it's been called the most controversial novel ever written in Canada?
No, not really. That's actually made me kind of excited for the book.
I see. Was it because some critics considered it to be, and I quote, spiritual gangrene? A Faustian compact with the devil?
I only understand about half those words, so that's not it either. It's the fact that we're going to be reading Bear by, I believe I'm pronouncing this correctly, Marian Engel?
Yes. In addition to all the other things that have been said, it's also probably the most tender love story ever written about a woman and a bear.
Yeah, and I think just by that sentence you kind of get where my apprehension is coming from. Aside from the other research we did, finding out that this is a well-respected novel, it is the favorite of some of your personal writers.
Yes.
Authors,
it's worth noting. Yeah, Marian Engel was like an established writer back in the 70s when she wrote this. She actually founded the Writers Union of Canada, and the book was written to fund that. So she made this so that other authors could write maybe something that didn't have.
So kind of pushing the envelope to make
sex.
the not as aggressive seem normal?
Well, consider if you're trying to raise money for a union, selling pornographic novels is not a bad technique. What talents do we have? How can we raise money for ourselves? Well, we're all writers. Yes. Most of us are perverts. Yes.
Boy, what a different meeting when you would sit around smoking a cigar and be like, how long have you been a pervert? Get to be so open about it.
How long have I been a what?
Anyway.
Something I found that was both sad and funny is she wrote this at a really tumultuous time in her life, and the book is actually dedicated to her therapist.
Whoa! Oh my God! Really?
Which I probably shouldn't laugh at, but I haven't looked at the inscription. I do want to say we haven't read this yet. This is just an introduction. We'll be over the coming weeks. We're gonna do a deep dive.
And I do want to say that we won't exclusively be reading animal-human love stories. It's more about exploring the romance novel between brothers and trying to figure out what there is out there. If there's a fun cross between something.
We don't read romance novels. That's not why we're doing this. I should have started with that. We're not doing a romance novel book club podcast because we love romance novels. At least I'm not. I'm doing it because maybe I could. I've always sort of laughed at them, and, this choice seems so ridiculous. I've wanted to read Bear for years, and what better way than with my best bro in the world?
I don't even think I was interested in romance novels until watching the show Jane the Virgin. I mean, just the way that they kind of televised what a telenovela was and kind of her whole path as a romance novelist. It was really interesting because that kind of piqued my curiosity, but not in any sense that I would alone go out and buy a romance novel. I think this is the perfect blend and opportunity for us to grow and experience a new written genre, as well as our readers joining us too.
It's weird how, I read a bunch of, I'll read I've read a nonfiction or a sci-fi horror, but romance is something I don't think I've ever even come close to. So I am excited. I just want to jump back. This book, as we said, Marian Engel, Bear, she dedicated it to her therapist because she wrote it in a really difficult time in her life. And it's sad and kind of funny to me. But the inscription, I just want to read it, is for John Rich, who knows how animals think.
Huh. I mean, that almost brings up the imagery of something happening between them. That's a very subtle and sexual quote.
We look up a photo of John, and he's like a super hairy dude with like big old gloves on, mittens.
Professional lumberjack, part-time therapist.
Part-time bear.
Part-time bear. I know.
For parties.
I know in the community there is a specific term for somebody who does dress up as a bear and like goes out into the forest just to hang out. And I do not remember what that specific name is. I'm sure as we read this book, I'll be doing some research. Yeah, in the furry community, there's like...
Oh, in the furry community. Yeah. Okay.
I tried to be vague and say in that community, but I think we're going to have to nail down that.
I thought you said in some communities. And I was like, what fucking small towns in America?
I thought like for...
Wouldn't you get shot?
Yeah, but for Seattle in the area, for every 10 people living in a building complex, one neighbor has to go into the backyard dressed as a bear and just like do a little bit of vandalism.
I do want to say that I haven't read it yet, but my understanding is that she's a regular woman. Well, obviously not regular. There's an irregular woman, we might say, but she's a human woman. And the bear is just a bear. I don't think the bear talks or sings. The bear is not like anthropomorphized in any way in this novel.
I have no idea. I hope not.
I don't think, flipping through it, I didn't get that impression.
Well,
that'd be buck wild though if like halfway through she's like stroking the bear's fur and he's like, I think of you as more than just a friend.
Ooh, brother. It's hard to say. There's a lot of avenues this could take. I'm wondering if this is a moment where she, by the bear's action, has a dialogue for the bear. Like she deciphers by his movements what the bear is saying, and we're gonna read this like back and forth between the two. Oh, brother. And I say I hope not. I actually don't know what I hope for this book. My hope is just that it just is going to happen to me and I get a fun experience out of it. I don't have any hopes for the book.
Well, it did win the Governor General's Award in 1976, which is like a pretty prestigious Canadian award.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of fell into like obscurity and then like more recently infamy as sort of just the subject matter popped up. Like at the time, a lot of critics liked it. We read a little snippet of a review earlier. It's worth noting that it was like pretty hard to get this published. It was roundly rejected by most publishers. And I just want to read one like snippet of a rejection letter that she was sent. They rejected Bear and said, and this is probably like the kindest way that you could shut down this book. This is a Harcourt editor, said, its relative brevity coupled with its extreme strangeness presents, I'm afraid, an insuperable obstacle in present circumstances, which is a really Canadian way of saying, it's a book about a woman fucking a bear. Wow, sister, I cannot publish this. It's it's so short and so smutty.
That's all there is. It's short and smutty.
That's it. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
That's all it is. I would like to talk about the dichotomy between the original book cover and the one that we were presented with today. I do think that is quite a difference. And for the listeners at home, we will do our best to describe these while being sensitive, I would say is the best word for it. The book that we're presented with now currently is very tame.
We're reading like a new edition of the book.
A seated bear looking off forlornly, I would say, into the distance, with a human arm reaching up over the shoulder.
Yeah,
tame.
You can barely see it. There's no sleeve on the arm. It's a naked arm, but it's a woman with her arm over the shoulder of a bear.
And it's subtle. It's very small. It can get to the scale of the bear.
Kind of sweet. You could almost replace it with the title. Just get rid of that upper part and replace it with the complete works of A.A. Milne, Winnie the Pooh saga.
It's kind of like the gritty reboot of Winnie the Pooh where he's an actual bear.
Oh, well, boy, do I regret bringing... Yeah, Disney is notoriously litigious. We should probably veer back back north of the border into Canada.
Back into Canada.
One critic...
Winnie the Doo. It's their bear.
One critic famously called Bear the Canadian Winnie the Pooh.
Really?
No.
See, this isn't going to work because I'm incredibly gullible. So these we're also trying to give real facts, and it's going to trip me up. The original book cover was something a little bit, I would say, more dramatic, more attention grabbing.
Yeah, a little bit more. Show a little bit more skin.
Yeah. The way I can describe the woman best is as a masthead of an ancient ship, the mermaid, proud out, with hair covering her essential bits.
Well, now hair covers some of her essential bits.
Not all of it.
Not all of it. The bear does a little bit of the censorship.
The more anthropomorphized bear standing behind her does some of the censoring.
Over her, reaching around. And it's not clear in the illustration if he's just blocking her breast from being seen by anyone, children.
The other animals in the woods.
If he gave it a squeeze, though, he would hurt her.
He would hurt her, yeah.
And that's not, I don't think that's what the book's about. I think it's a very tender story.
I hope it's tender. Well, again, I don't have hopes. I have no concept of what's going to happen in this book. And I'm apprehensive, but I think it'll be a journey.
Something I want to just get in here is that on the back of the book, the book does receive the double Margaret seal of approval because it's got positive reviews from both Margaret Lawrence and Margaret Atwood, who most people would know from writing Handmaid's Tale. And a bunch of other great stories. But Margaret Atwood says, Bear is a strange and wonderful book, plausible as Kitchens, but shapely as a folktale, with the same disturbing resonance. Which, that's like the review that piqued my interest.
I gotta unpack every single layer of that review. Because each line, the kitchen line specifically is...
Okay, yeah. Bear is a strange and wonderful book.
Okay.
That's
a review.
Get that.
End.
Plausible as Kitchens.
I don't understand what that means.
Is that some Canadian idiom that we don't maybe down here?
Let's take a couple shots at what we think that could mean.
Okay.
Just as Americans, I would like to try to expand my cultural brush.
My initial reaction to plausible as Kitchens is it's just as likely to happen as a kitchen.
Yeah.
Which seems like probably not. I've seen a lot of kitchens, and this book is the only time I've seen
more of a literal
woman bear love. Seen a lot of man bear love down in Portland area bars, but woman bear love is less common.
Yes, plausible as kitchens to me means the concept of being one with kitchen, kind of like oneness. The idea of being able to be in a space and completely move around and understand everything. I think this quote is saying, you're going to get this book. You're going to understand what is happening 100% of the time.
It might sound strange, but it's as plausible as being in your kitchen. It'll seem you walk into your kitchen, that's normal.
You know where the coffee is. You know where the creamer is.
You know where your spoons go.
There's a little bit of onion leaf on the ground. Oopsie. I call them onion leaves.
Cooking last night. Nope, spoons are all in the dishwasher. Forgot to make it run. Now having sex with the bear.
Now
tender, loving embrace.
Just like my time in the kitchen.
Exactly like kitchens.
Oh,
okay,
brother.
I feel like we've unpacked that. Shapely as a folktale and with the same disturbing resonance. So it's short. That's what that's telling me.
Yeah, shapely really feels like it's talking about the length of the body of it. It's like, no, it's fine. It's kind of like Little Red Riding Hood, except if that story took a much different twist and the wolf charmed the grandma.
Well, wait, because in the original story, he eats the grandma, dresses up as her, and then we assume eats Little Red. Oh,
he
no.
He does eat Little Red because the woodsman comes and cuts his belly open and releases all of the people.
Is he eating a hole?
Yep. He just...
What big teeth you have? Oh, the better to swallow a little girl hole.
But I'm thinking if we made this in a bear style, thinking of the quote,
the
wolf shows up to eat grandma, immediately falls in love, and it turns into more of a dating kind of romance as the daughter and woodsman say, no, grandma, he'll eat you and pretend to be you. And she'll say, I have to follow my heart.
You always follow I think could be that you always follow your heart should be the tagline. Bear, a novel. Always follow your heart.
I have a physical reaction to that, but I couldn't put words to if it's positive or negative.
If your heart's leading you towards a bear, follow it. This message was not approved by the National Park Service. The National Park Service has been trying to get this book banned for years.
Speaking of, this episode is sponsored by the National Park Service. Pull back.
No. Oh, the coffers are gonna be dry after this one.
I love when I can open my wallet and a moth flies out.
The folktale line is actually pretty prescient in Atwood's review because I think the book was based on some First Nation legends, fables, I guess, or fairy tales. Myths would be the right word. Myths about. There's one I think literally called the Bear Princess. I'd have to take another look, but I thought that was somewhat interesting. I can't speak to how the book's going to tackle any of those issues.
Yeah, I think that's something we're going to be able to dissect that as we get into it. I think there's going to be some obvious motifs.
And yeah, I want to dive into the literary side of the book a little bit. Like I want to have fun. This is a fun show, but like I don't want to just like be reading books and like cynically like laughing. And I'm not here to make fun of Marian Engel, who I believe has passed, or bears at large. They are a respected community.
Yeah, I'm pro bear.
I am a bear. I'm a bear for bears, and I'll bear the weight of that struggle every day of my life.
Wow. The amount of your dedication is really giving me pause.
That joke was a roaring success.
Sorry, you're just gonna have to bear down with me. What else were you saying?
I want some honey. I don't have any more bear puns, but
yeah,
some fucking honey
right
sounds good.
There.
When Winnie the Pooh would eat honey, it always
we can't
looked
stop talking
so
about Winnie the
fucking
Pooh.
good. No, but just this last bit. Remember when Winnie the Pooh eats honey, he just sticks his whole fucking paw in there and just like just gets it all up. It looks so good. You do that with real honey, it's not.
I'm trying to think of like
good.
the modern day equivalent. Like if I was gonna stick my hand into something and just eat it, no holds barred. I guess that would be like a bag of marshmallows. Just really get up in there. Just
we've all been camping. Dive in for that big marsh, that big old soft, sweet, white, puffy mallow.
Yep. All right. Well, any last thoughts here as we're kind of tying things up?
Yeah, I guess we should talk about our reading schedule a little bit. For episode 2, we're going to be reading the first 8 chapters. And then after that, I think depending on how things go, we'll do another 8 chapters and then the last 7 at the end. So if you want to read along at home, you're going to want to read the first 8 chapters of Bear by the next time an episode comes out.
And we're breaking it up by like exciting moments, correct? Like not just based off of the length of book.
Yes, I read ahead a little bit and sort of saw where the story was going, some of the foreshadowing, and I think that will be very settled. Ends on like a nice, good, solid like Game of Thrones cliffhanger each time.
Oh, excellent. Nice. I love that. That's what kept me coming back to the show, so this is perfect.
And if people have thoughts about those first 8 chapters or and just about the book in general, they are able to get a hold of us. Feel free to shoot an email. What was that address again, Lucky?
Yeah, that's going to be grbooknook@gmail.com. That is grbooknook@gmail.com. You can reach out to us with any of your questions or your thoughts as we're reading the book together. Apprehensions, I guess, because that's really what I'm feeling, and I assume some of you also might be thinking the same.
Questions for us? I don't want to say Lucky, you picked that name for the Gmail, and I think that's fucking great. GR Booknook sounds like some sort of Canadian general. GR Booknook at your service.
I feel it's so concise. It's going to tighten up to GRBN, and I think eventually it's going to become this perfect merch opportunity.
GRBN is also good because it sounds like a news network. Welcome back to GRBN. This week's top story:
maybe
a woman falls in love with a bear. But first, sports.
Maybe for our next series, we'll do a news/romance combination novel. I assume that every type of writing is out there, so we can certainly find something to fit that niche.
It would be the Evening Report by Marian Engel.
Well, I think that's going to tie things up for us over here. From all of us over here at the Gentleman's Romantic Book Nook, we hope you enjoy our selection.
Yeah, happy reading, everybody. See you next time.
Rawr.
The bear.